A Brexiter has predicted French President Emmanuel Macron will eventually back down and agree to a win-win trade deal with the UK. CEO of campaign group The Freedom Association, Simon Richards, argued a Brexit trade deal between the UK and EU was likely to be agreed. While speaking to Jonathan Saxty with Brexit Watch, Mr. Richards claimed the French President Emmanuel Macron would eventually concede in the Brexit trade talks. The Brexiteer added President Macron and other EU member state leaders would complain but eventually agree to an equally beneficial trade deal with the UK. Mr. Richards admitted Boris Johnson and his negotiating team may also complain about the agreement of a trade deal but would have ultimately succeeded in their Brexit trade deal goals. Mr. Richards said, "If I were a betting man, which I am not despite making money in 2016 on Brexit. If I were a betting man, I would still say the likelihood is that there will be a deal that works for both sides." The Brexiteer outlined how this would likely happen and how the EU would attempt to save face. He said, "What usually happens is that you would likely get Emmanuel Macron saying that David Frost and those Brits were so tough. The Brits got a completely outrageous deal, but we did the best for the EU." Mr. Richards hinted the UK may apply a similar attitude after trade talks have concluded. He said, "Equally, I think you will get David Frost and Boris Johnson saying those French people drove a hard bargain. But at this point, everybody is happy then." Mr. Richard also argued in favour of a no-deal Brexit and insisted the UK would be perfectly fine trading off World Trade Organization (WTO) rules. He continued, "That said, I would have no problem whatsoever with having a no-deal, WTO terms. Personally, I would quite like that. I think that would be my preference. In that scenario, you are just not beholden to anybody and then you can build on that from day one. I think there is a mistake in thinking that everything has to be absolutely just so from midnight at the end of the year. These things can be done in bits, in my view." Both the UK and EU have admitted little progress has been made in the Brexit trade deal talks but insisted they will continue to press on in hopes of securing a trade deal.